what the heck happened last year, right?
Record year.
Yeah, for the books. For the books.
Certainly a record year for mortgage. Mortgage rates have doubled essentially from the same time last year, which is astronomical record growth.
Super excited to talk about the January housing update with Tomo Mortgage, which our representative, Ted Volynets, is here with us today. Hello, Ted.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So we're going to get right into it because what's on everyone's mind right now is mortgage rates.
Right.
And I know you were just looking up the rates from yesterday. Where are we today?
Today, conventionally, we're closer to 6%. So they have been, cooling off and easing down, and the market has been improving.
Sure. So this makes sense because the 6.42, so we're now at 6. So that we're moving in the right direction, which we talked about last time on our show, that's what the analysts were saying. They were going to start easing into this year.
Right. They were super high in November, and then since November, they've been cooling off.
That's awesome. So now, having said that, what does Lawrence Yun, we like Lawrence, what the chief economist for NAR, what's he saying these days?
The upcoming months should see a return of buyers as mortgage rates appear to have already peaked and have been coming down since mid-November, exactly like we've spoken about.
Exactly. And, I was reading the NAR report, and it was crazy. So that was 22. In 21, like 86% financed. And in 22, it was in the 70s. So we've seen a, cooling off of people that are getting financing. But now if these mortgage rates come back in, we're going to be golden.
Sure. The overwhelming majority of transactions still do have a mortgage.
Yeah.
The question is that as housing prices have been going up over the last couple of years and mortgage rates have increased over the last year, a lot of buyers were concerned. And now I don't think there's that much to be concerned about.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And they paused. That's what we saw in the last half of last year when they went crazy. So what is David Stevens, who's the former Secretary of Housing, saying these days?
This is pretty interesting. He said this may be the one and only window for the next few years to get into a buyer's market. And remember, as the Federal Reserve data shows, home prices only go up and always recover from recessions, no matter how mild or severe. Long-term homeowners should view this market right now as a unique buying opportunity, and I could not agree more.
The last 6 recessions that we've had, prices have gone up in 4 of them. One, the Great Recession, 2008-9, went down significantly. Everybody gets that. And the other one that it went down in, it was just minor. So really, it is a good time to buy. And the other thing I saw in the NAR report that just came out, by the way, was the prices were 100% or more, like 27% were above 100%, and the overwhelming were at least 100%. So now we're starting to see that ease off a little bit in price of people not having to pay full price with 5,000 offers. So it's a great time. Like you said, it's a great time to buy. The analysts are all over the place, up 5%, down 5%, all over. But the average is that home prices are going to stay stable.
It's proof that nobody actually knows, right?
We don't have a crystal ball, right?
There is no crystal ball.
Yeah.
The truth is, I do think now is still a great time to buy.
It is. Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting that you look at the far red on that is price reductions that happened in those months. And look at the blue. Those were all increases. So in January of 21 through March, which April was when the whole big issue happened with the stock market and the interest rates went up. Now we started to see some reduction. So it kind of goes back to that whole concept of time to buy is now.
Yeah, I think sellers are becoming a little more realistic. The market was on fire for a little bit, and now that everything is cooling off, there are fewer bidding wars that we're seeing. We're even seeing sellers start to give concessions and incentivize buyers in order to, be able to lower their interest rates or lower their closing costs.
Exactly.
So it's like a return to normalcy.
That's exactly it, normalcy. Now, there's some other products that are kind of making their way back, and those are like adjustable rate mortgages.
Believe it or not, even though most people get a 30-year fixed rate loan, the average loan only lives for 7 years.
Yeah.
And for a variety of reasons.
Sure.
The home value can increase and people refinance, or interest rates drop and they lower their monthly payment, or their family grows and they want to buy a bigger home. So technically you could save money if you plan on only being in the home for 7 years or less. You could save money by opting for an adjustable rate mortgage over a 30-year fixed rate.
Yeah. I've had a few adjustable rates back in the early 2000s, and they were great. They served a purpose. But now one of the things that, Lori Goldman and Karen Krall of Urban Land Institute are saying, go ahead and read that and see what you think.
So she's saying the risks of ARMs were substantially mitigated by the regulatory reforms put in place after the 2008 bust. Mm-hmm. Today's ARMs are not the risky products of 2008 or even the pre-bubble version. ARMs are no longer something to fear. In fact, they could help borrowers save money and reduce barriers to homeownership.
Increase affordability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So go ahead and read what Linda F. Hersey is saying.
So Linda's saying that temporary rate buydowns are a hot trend for mortgages as borrowers face higher costs for home loans. Some buyers are exploring alternatives to traditional mortgages in a period of rising interest rates that is expected to continue into 2023. Buydowns are a less costly alternative to traditional fixed rate mortgages.
Now you have an opinion on this.
I do not like temporary buydowns.
No.
There are very few cases where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Your monthly payment is lower up front, mm-hmm. and then your full mortgage payment comes into effect a year or two from now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really help affordability. It's forcing buyers even to have to refinance, because what's going to happen if the market today is, let's pretend 6%, and somebody's giving them a 4.5% payment. That 4.5% payment is going to go away in a year or in 2 years. And then they're going to have to refinance.
Yeah.
So I'm in this business for a while. I don't make interest rate bets. I don't think buyers should be making interest rate bets. Yeah. And it's essentially a product that guarantees somebody is going to go back to you for a refinance. Now, Tomo is a purchase-only lender. We only do purchases, so we don't play these games. And if this is such a good thing, why weren't they offering this last year? Why are they only offering this when rates are too high? Yeah. And they'll say it's things like, oh, it's in order to increase affordability, but it really doesn't.
If you thought this was a product for you, you got to talk to Ted.
It could be. Listen, I'm not gonna say it's nothing. It's nothing is a one for all solution.
Yeah.
But if you're able to get a seller concession, use that money mm-hmm. to permanently buy down your rate.
And if you get that seller concession, which working with a great real estate agent is important too, and here at the Bartos Group we have a lot of them, but those are concessions that you get. Instead of getting dollars off, which may not, affect your pocketbook for affordability, we want to get you dollars off your mortgage.
Right.
That you're paying month over month over month. And that we could do with the seller concession.
That goes a lot further than, moving the purchase price a couple of $1,000s for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's get to it and talk about what's happening here in Southwest Florida. So in Southwest Florida, I had this slide last month, and you can see it's really only gone up a little bit because I did it around the 15th. Our numbers in 2022 were exactly what they were, very close to what they were in 2019.
Wow.
So those anomaly years of number of homes sold in 21 and 22, 2021 were just that. They were anomalies. But a couple of things that I do want to point out on these next couple of slides is look at the median percent of last list price to what was negotiated. So in the green, it was 100% or more. It doesn't show you the more. And then these are some of the markets. So you can see some of the markets had more negotiability, but these are not big negotiabilities. We're not talking about, 50% off or 30% off of prices. Now, in some of our markets, storm, maybe some things happened in Fort Myers Beach and Sanibel, et cetera. But for the most part, our market is pretty close to less than 5% off list. The other thing that I wanted to share with folks this time around is really the month's supply of homes. We do not have a ton of months supply of homes. As you can see back here, this is January of 19 at the very beginning. Mm-hmm. And look what happened. This was in those crazy years, 21, 22, et cetera. And it's come up, but these aren't crazy months supply. I think overall that says 3 months in Naples. And, in Fort Myers, it's 2 months. In Marco, it's a little more at 5.1 months, et cetera. But when you look at these numbers when that related back here in January of 20,
it's very strong.
Right. We're still in a seller's market. There's just more ability to buy for our buyers. And our sellers just need to know that, okay, it's not the same where they're going to get 100 offers and all that craziness. If we hit the price right, you're going to get a great price and still way above. And don't have a ton of competition. there's this perception out there that the prices are going to drop, that they're going to go crazy. Now, we've seen what the analysts say. A swing of 5% either way is not like 2008 where they, went in half. But look at what's happened with these home sales, Ted. If you look at the bottom red, those are percent number of homes that were down. So like 21, we helped over 500 families. Price went up. Last year, we helped 360 families. So we helped less because there was less product out there for people to have,
Sure.
right? And they were losing things in multiple offer situations. And then we had this thing called Ian. So from that perspective, but look at what about happened with prices. Prices were still above what they were year over year. So when I compared 21 to 22, and I added the slide in for December because December was really a crazy month. You can see January or September, October, and December, we were about 38% off in number of families served. But our prices were kind of up and down. And even in December, we were still a little bit higher price than we were the year before.
Wow.
So that just tells me we have a really strong market. I think the closer here, as we always say, Ted, what do you think? Is it time to move?
I think good deals are made in bad markets, and, bad deals clearly previously were made in a great market, but I think there's always an opportunity. And what's most important is that you're working with a team that knows what your needs and what your desires are.
Right.
And working, of course, with the lender that'll help you get there.
Absolutely. So until next month, I'm Mary Bartos with the Bartos Group at Premier Plus Realty and
Ted Volynets with Tomo Mortgage.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and more importantly, click the notification bell so you know when the next one's coming out.